Oh.
Welcome, everybody out there to Divorce Double Podcast, episode 181. That's a lot of damn episodes.
I know.
That's a lot. And you came on at 50.
Nope, 37.
37?
Right after the name we do not
So
speak
do the math
of.
later. Today we're talking about relationships before, during, and after your divorce. Friendships, relationships with family, all that good stuff. So knock it out.
Okay, how I came up with this is we've been gone for 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, sorry, folks. We've been gone for a while.
Rachel's been exploring the world. We had gone on a 2-week trip, but it was a tour. So someone else basically planned. Tour.
You tore it? Like you tore your Achilles? Or a tour?
A tour, like a 3-hour tour. And so someone else was planning our adventures. We did have like free days where we can do things we wanted to do. But we were with 30 people, a tour director, and a bus driver, right? For 2 weeks. So these were our people. This was our
your family. This is our vacation family.
Bus family.
Bus.
And so how I thought of this topic is
to move.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So it really was like a divorce, right? So we're starting a new. We're somewhere we've never been before. I've never been divorced before. Okay. We step on this bus, or we step in the hotel lobby and meet all the people, right? We have a little get together. Everybody introduces themselves, where they're from, blah blah blah.
Does it involve alcohol?
Absolutely.
There
was lots of alcohol on the trip. It was Ireland and Scotland, distilleries, wineries, whiskey, all the things, right? So we meet all these people. And in meeting all these people, it was like after you divorce, you're dating. So a new relationship's about to start. And I think when you start new friendships or new work or new romantic ships, whatever you want to call them, it's what I just experienced. So we introduced ourselves. We told them something about us, what we did for
What'd
living.
you say?
I basically said I was awesome and I was looking for my castle and I brought my tiara. So back up.
But what'd you really say? Back up, bitch.
Basically, I did that. They're like, why are you here? I was like, I've come to recapture my castles and my throne. And I did bring a tiara. I really did say that.
All right.
Do you expect anything less?
No.
Also that I was a school nurse and blah, blah, blah. And we're celebrating our 50th birthdays and the whole thing.
Okay.
But in that introduction, I think what happens too, like anytime after a divorce, you're listening to someone's similarities or comfort, like, oh, that person's also a nurse, or that person's also an administrator, or that person does this. And, oh, we have some commonality. I guess I'll talk to them because they know who I am.
They relate to me.
Relationships. So in these 2 weeks, it was so funny because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to hang out with those people. And it didn't end up like that. A lot of times I was like, oh, that feels comfortable. I want to not feel comfortable in this space. I want to do something different. I'm doing something different now. I'm in a different country.
Okay.
So I want to experience all the things, but I don't want it to be the same path I've always taken.
So you make an effort to change your path.
Yeah. So unconsciously or whatever, our whole group by the end, some of them are like family now. Some are friends or whatever. We have great stories and it didn't get dark there. So like at 12 o'clock at night, we're still like visibly light outside. So we were like drinking until like midnight, 1 o'clock and then whatever. So there was a lot of different times where I talked to different people or we intermingled with different people because we knew they were going to know us because we were together for 2 weeks. And so I think we sought out like people that we wouldn't normally sit with or just by, we were the youngest couple. But there was 2 sets of moms and daughters that were together. So one was graduating college and the other one, the daughter was going to see Taylor Swift in Dublin. So they had to make a trip before it or something like that. Yeah. So there was a lot of people that I would normally go sit with, like the mom and daughter. I have a daughter. She's a mom. Let me go sit with her. So we sat with all the different groups of people. And then there was like 14 people traveling together. So we're like, oh, do we invade that big group? And put our feelers out. Hey, there might be someone in that group that we really like or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it really was one of those things like I met every single person. I know a story about every single person. There was a lot of times we were on a bus for 3 hours to get from one spot to the other because it's just a lot of place to cover. And the tour guide would play songs and we'd be like joking around. And so I think it really related to me. At the end of the trip, I had told them there's something that you guys wouldn't know about me is I have a divorce podcast. And they're like, really? And people are like, I just ended a long relationship. I had a divorce this many years ago and I am remarried or I'm not remarried or I don't want to talk about it. So there was a lot of people like at the end of my trip, they're like, huh. I, of course, shared more information. I go, a lot of it is more just relationships and then how you get through anything that's bad. And even if you're in a relationship now and there's a bad part. It may get better and it may not, but having the tools to get through the storm is really important, and knowing that no matter what you're feeling, it's okay.
Yep.
And but so another reason is like this tour was building new relationships and on the
Mm.
other end. These none of these people know me. They don't know my story. They don't know I have a podcast. They don't know I had 3 kids. I was able to give them the parts that I wanted them to
And
have.
receive parts.
And then I also was listening, like, hey, these one of the couples have been to every continent except Antarctica. They do like these touring things with students and schools and stuff. And then when they retired, they started doing with adults and stuff like that. And so they've seen so many places. I'm like, I want to be you when I grow up. So it was very interesting on just learning people who are from all over. We have people from Canada, we have people from like Virginia and stuff like that. And I think this anytime you have a new situation where you have to put yourself out there, a new job, new relationship, new state, new whatever it is, you have to take it down your boundaries. You have to be vulnerable. You have to also protect yourself. And I think after divorce, you are very like protective of
Yep.
yourself. And I feel like on this tour, to relate it to our podcast, was I was like, you know what? No matter what, I'm going to be who I am. And worst case scenario, I'll never see them again. I'll never meet them again. And so it was really comforting knowing that I could be myself 100%, whether they liked me or not.
And I had to worry about
It didn't matter. I wasn't going to see them at the grocery store. Their kid doesn't go to my school. It's not a student at Lance's school or something. It wasn't someone we're going to bump into at the bar. And so it was relaxing and comforting to know that you can be all of you in a situation of strangers. But in like your past, like in my past, is I had to pretend who I was with my family, with my in-laws, with these people, with the friends. And when I got divorced, a lot of those people weren't there for me. And so look at what it can be with strangers. You can have people who are now like family in 2 weeks. So it really was one of those eye-opening things, like relationships are what you want them to be. I think after divorce or after any storm or hardship, you can be in control of it because it's your life. And we could have just stuck to ourselves. Like Lance and I could have just been like, we're not going to talk to anybody. We're the youngest couple here and no one can relate to us, blah, 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 blah. No, that's not how it was. And our tour guide even said that this doesn't always happen where 30 people meld this well and like get along. And like,
it was you, baby.
Yeah.
It was you.
It was me.
It was
I mean,
you.
it probably was me.
You were the capillary action of the trip.
And I think there was a couple people that were similar to me,
Oh,
outspoken
God.
and
More
the
than
life
one?
of the party kind of person and not really giving a shit what other people think because, again, I had no stake in the game.
Yep.
I had no, oh, they're going to judge me. I didn't care. I absolutely didn't care if someone was going to judge. You making noises over there?
No, not me. I think it all relates to also about exposure.
Yeah.
So you're exposed to another country, and being exposed here in Colorado Springs in your town doesn't leave a whole lot of leeway for extra. So you experience extra big time.
Yeah.
And so you were thrust into a situation where you had to make the best of it.
Yeah. And it wasn't ever like they were the reason, like those people just happened to be on that tour. The reason for my trip was to have a celebration with Lance and I for our 50th birthdays, go out of the country, go somewhere I've always wanted to go, like in my entire life, and making it happen.
Get Lance away from work.
Yeah. He left his work phone at home. Can you believe
No
it?
way.
Like I thought the skies were going to envelop. Like
he left his work phone
Yeah.
at home.
I thought there was going to be a big volcano. Even if there wasn't one like there, I thought we were going to have one just because of that.
Congratulations, Lance. Yeah.
And again, I think too, he realizes that yes, your work is important and all these things are important, but at any moment you're replaceable.
Yeah. If you die, man, they're going to keep it moving.
Yeah. They're going to find someone else. They're going to mourn you. They're going to mourn the work that you did because you work 90 hours a week. But I think you need to take these times now because we are getting younger.
Yeah. Young bucks.
I know, but I'm saying like in hindsight of the world, like you can analyze, like I may only have 20 summers left where I can actually walk to the beach. I may only have 15 summers left where don't need someone to help me get there. Like this, like we walked And there was people on this trip that were 70, 75, and they're going up castles and they're walking things. I want to
Mhm.
be those people. I
Yep.
don't want to be that in the nursing home. Hopefully I'm able to not be in the nursing home and do other things. We don't know how much time we have left in this life.
Nope.
So put down the phone, go on that vacation, go with that person that you want to be with all the time. And when you're not with them, you're wishing you were. Make an effort to see the people that matter, because the people that don't matter aren't making an effort towards you. So make the effort towards the people that are there going, hey, I'm rooting you on. Let's travel the world together. Even if it just means going to a different town, go on that date, go to that movie, go to that theater show that he or she wants to see, do things, be active, live your life, like be active in this life, because no one else could be active for you. People can invite you to do things
Yep.
and you're like, oh, I'm too tired. Go to that party, go to that event, go do, because you are in charge of the relationships that you have, and nurture those relationships that are also making an effort. The people that check up on you when you're like drinking too much
Yep.
and not eating, or when you just want to be a hermit because you're sad because work is stressing you out. Get yourself together, put your face on, whatever you need to do, get your hair did, get a new outfit, go out. You don't have money for a new
Yep.
outfit? Get in, be comfy and go out and see those people, because you never know what's going to happen. And I think what happens too in relationships, we get comfortable. Oh, they're going to be there. They're going to be there. They were there before. No, they might not be there. And again, we don't know how much time we have on this earth. And I think stepping outside of your comfort friend group is so invigorating. I learned in 2 weeks about people like who have created things. They're artists, they're this, they've been an educator, they're a nurse, there's nurses who teach in schools, and all these cool things that people have done that I may not have been exposed to if I didn't meet them. And so each person that I had a conversation with, you know willingly or unconsciously, just, oh, I'm gonna have a drink, and Lance is watching a soccer game in the bar, like, I'm gonna go outside and sit because it's 60 degrees, I have to wear a sweatshirt, and it's green everywhere. It's
Yep.
beautiful. I'm going to go sit outside and then start talking to one of the people on our tour, or a stranger, and just be like, hey, look where we are. Look at this space that we're in, or we're allowed to be in. Like, we're healthy, happy, celebrating all these things. So celebrate those little moments. Like, I got out of bed today. I'm going to go for a walk. I got out of bed today. I'm going to make myself pancakes for dinner. Do the things that
That
make
you
you
want.
happy,
So,
and cherish those relationships.
so what happens? So we have that trifecta: people before, people during, people after.
Yeah.
How do the dynamics, or how have you seen the dynamics play a part between those three sessions?
I think the people that have always been shitty are still shitty. They haven't changed. And I expected when I got divorced, they would be kinder,
Hmm.
but they weren't. So I was like, I almost gave them a fresh start after I got divorced. Okay. They may not have known what to say when I was going through it. Or if they called me, I just cried. And they didn't want to hear me cry because they don't know me as someone I'm the happy friend. I'm trying to make everybody else happy.
Hmm.
Let's do something to make you happy because you look sad, even though I'm going through the worst time of my life. And I think I gave them the benefit of the doubt, where I don't think I made myself available when I was going through my divorce to the people that were there, because I didn't want to burden them with my sadness. So I'm like, maybe I have stepped so far out of that, I didn't allow them to help me. But once I was out of my sadness, they still weren't there. And I think what happens too is you become disappointed. You have those unrealistic expectations we talk about.
There you go.
And I think it takes a long time to be like, I won't do that again to myself. I won't have a best friend that doesn't see
Yep.
me. I won't have new friend groups that don't include me because I wasn't there from the start. I won't allow people to tell my story inaccurately. If you come at me and you say something that isn't true, I'm going to be like, you can think what you want. And I don't need to prove myself for you to like me, because the
Correct.
second that I have to prove myself, we weren't really friends.
Friends.
And I said, I'm really hard now to pick people to be my friends. So I still have the people that were there with me through my divorce, and new people in my life. Yes, they're friends, but it takes a lot for me to be like, hey, let's go do something. Hey, do you want to come over to the house? Hey, we're gonna have a barbecue. You should come over. That doesn't happen. That hasn't happened in 4.5 years, unless they are 1 degree from Lance's friends from home,
Gotcha.
or I knew them because, or I've known them before my divorce enough in it where I haven't been like, oh, you weren't really there for me. So I think now any relationship that I have where I call you like friend, I'm not telling you should feel special, but you should feel special because it really has come. No, I'm good. I have everything I need. Whether that best friend is 2,600 miles away or lives in Larkspur or lives in a
Hmm.
different state, I'm good. I do not need games. I don't want someone to be my friend because, oh, she doesn't have any friends, so let's just be a friend. No, I don't need that. I want people that are going to show up for me. So quality over quantity. And I was definitely that quantity people. I was like,
Yep.
I have
Been there, done
500
that.
friends. I can call
Yep.
any one of them. Well, no, I
That's
can't.
not true.
And
No.
then when you really need them, they weren't there.
So let's talk about levels of friends. We've done that before.
Yeah.
You have your ride or die friends. Just
Oh, yeah.
one degree separation from
And
yourself.
you know who you are. Like, I don't
Yeah.
have to tell you that's who you are.
And those friends are sometimes closer than your family.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then you have, what do you say, the middle friends, where like the friends you call to go out for a drink, and then the ones, then the tertiary circle.
Yeah.
So the three circles. So the last circle is friends that you just acquainted with and say hi
Oh, yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. If you see, like my Logan plays sports and stuff like that, if I see a friend or someone, you're like, oh yeah, let's go get drinks. That may not happen. It might have been a nice, oh sure, yeah, let's do that. And been like, oh no, I don't like that one. But there's also friends that I know that are busy that we will get to it.
Yep.
And we see each other and text each other enough where I haven't missed a beat. There's also friends I haven't seen in a couple years, and then we've reconnected and left off right where we started. And there's those friends that have the same ideologies and the same morals and views and things. And then there's those friends that have different views that I can talk to in an adult manner, especially with the world that is going on right now. Like, we know it's a fucking mess. And whether you're on the side, no matter what side you're on, if I can have a conversation with you, I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to hate you because you like the person I don't like. I just have a different view of why I like my person, and I'm okay with why you like your person.
We can be friends in spite of our differences.
And I don't need to convince you to like my person, but if you ask me a question, I'm not going to placate it to your person. I'm not going to make my beliefs or my views on things change because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yep.
So I think that happens
and
a
if
lot.
you're a friend, you should understand that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times mine is a religious base. When I have been in religion day one, like my mom was super Catholic schools, all the things, did all the holidays, all the christenings, all the confirmations, all the things. And then I had a dad who was an atheist.
Damn.
So there's us going, we got to go to church, we have to do our prayers, we have to say this, we have to recite our verses, we have to do that, blah, 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 on my mom's side. And then my dad would just talk freely about never dissing God or never dissing what he believed, but he was very into science. And he was very into show me the money, right? Show me why you think that, and tell me it's not just because it was regurgitated from your parents or regurgitated from your family, or the book that you read was a different book that I read and they both make sense, but I'm allowed to read these books and you're allowed to read these books, right? And so my dad was more of that open mind, be a good human. Don't fall back on, if I say I'm sorry, God will forgive me. No, actually be sorry and don't do it again. You can't just say your Hail Marys and go to confession and do your thing. You actually have to change how you are after you've done something wrong. And again, as a child, what was I doing wrong? I yelled back at my parent or something like that. But he also instilled in us that we were allowed to have our views. And I think when you go through a divorce, it's left or right. And that middle ground is where you need to live, because that first text you get from your ex and you're like, motherfucker, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear from you, right? You want to get that all out because you want them to know how mad you are. And then the texts are like, me being mad doesn't do anything. It just makes you more mad. And then I can't deal with you because I can't deal with you when you're mad. And then it becomes I just texted someone today. I'm like, super K. Like, that just means, okay, but take your cape and fly away. Go away.
and your broom.
Yeah. And so you get into those different levels of relationships too, even with your ex, because you've come at that. You're getting divorced. This is not happy birthday. You're getting divorced. You're no longer in that family. Everything's being split. You have to decide where your dog goes. You have to decide who gets the kid, what's these days, what's holidays, all in advance. You have to do that parent thing.
Wow.
Even the relationships you have with your children, your in-laws, your own family, your friends that were friends with your ex before they were friends with you. And then the people that you don't tell and they find out 2 years later that you're divorced and then they're mad at you because you didn't tell them, like, we ain't friends.
That's not a friend. Yeah.
Like you wouldn't
If
know.
you're mad at me for
Yeah.
not telling you,
So
you shouldn't
relationships,
be
yeah.
you shouldn't be a
Yeah.
friend.
And relationships to me are funny because like you will never, I don't think you ever get back from a relationship what you give. Because if I'm giving 100% a relationship, you can't always give me the exact way I need it back. So I think we always get like 90%, 95%. In a time of crisis, you're probably giving that friend 100%, but you also have your own family or your own things to worry about. So you can't give them 100%. So it's still at 90. And the only way you can build healthy relationships after divorce or after anything tragic like this or crazy like this, is you have to love yourself. You have to have the best relationship with you. And you are running your own ship, right? You're running this vessel to wherever you're going. And if you don't love you and if you don't cherish and set those boundaries, but then also those little feelers, you're like, oh, I like it. I'll have it here. No, wait, no, I don't like that. That looks familiar. Or, oh, wait, that looks familiar, but it looks okay. And so you really have to heighten your senses. Also, when you get in situations that were familiar that turned out bad, trust your gut, trust your spidey senses. Like, your gut normally is the first thing that's, ooh, I don't like that. I don't really like how that feels. But I tolerated it because I was in a marriage. I tolerated it because I was in a family. I was tolerated because I didn't want to upset anybody. Don't tolerate your life. Live your life.
So you meet somebody for the first time.
Yeah.
So for me, you almost have to find something in common. To like strike that conversation. Yeah. So what are some of the red flags? And there's a lot of red flags.
We used to talk about this in the beginning of the podcast. Like, you're chewing too loud. Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah, but that's more women and men. But I'm talking about either same sex, just friends.
Okay.
What are some of the red flags for you?
I feel like now I can spot a narcissist from 12 miles away.
The buzzword.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I can pretty much tell if you're pretentious, if you're conceited, if you don't really give a fuck about anybody but yourself. Like those people right there are red flags.
They're talking about themselves so much.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I'm pretty good now at sensing people that only want to be your friend because of something that you can give them, or you're good enough for that time. Like
a friend for a season.
Yeah. And I think I'm done trying to figure out my seasons. I will only invest the time if you're going to be there for my lifetime. And a lot of times they'll trick you. So you might have friends from work, say, right? And you're like, oh my God, they're great. They're great. They're great. They're great. And then the dynamic changes because of a new employee or a new boss or a new something. And you're like, holy shit, that person's fucking lazy. But because of the old regime, they got away with a lot. And so I think what happens is you're like, oh, that one tricked me. And then you build those walls again and you're like, nope, no one's going to do that again. And then this new person comes in and then you're like, wait, they're really cool. They really do that. Da-da-da. So I think each relationship, especially work, you're there a lot, right?
Yep.
You are with those people. You should be able to figure. I think there's a lot of times there's TikToks or whatever memes and stuff, and it's all the different characters of work, and they like give them names, Kit Kat. They always need a break, stuff like that. I think there's a certain amount of characters in our lives, and we got to decide which ones we want to play a part in our story. And I think the other thing too, when we're talking about the people who were shitty before, middle, and at the end of your divorce, I think there are people who don't know how to help you because they've never been through anything. And for me in my head, because I've been through so much in my life, to have someone who's never lost a parent or a child or never had a family member pass away or never been in a car accident, never gone through anything bad in their relationship. There are people out there. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, there's people like floating through life?
Yeah, but you have to respect them not having those.
Oh, yeah. Those things, and so you get envious of it and you're like, you can't relate to me. Don't talk to me about it. It's if we've never gone through a divorce and we're having a divorce podcast.
That'd be hella great. Yeah.
So we could talk about relationships, but we don't know what a divorce is like if you haven't been through it. And I think a lot of times people think divorce is the easiest way out. And it's not. Don't think that. It's going to be shitty. There's going to be hard times, but you can get through it with tools. And I think that the podcast, they're
We offer lots of tools.
knowing that we are
Wrenches and
just
hammers and everything.
normal people going through shit and having things happen, and shit happens. It's just how you deal with it and learn to move on.
There you
And
go.
then you have your backpack, like your Dora got her backpack full of all these tools now. So her little map, so she can get to her spaces. Live your life. Just don't sit idly by and expect it to get better. Do better for you. Love yourself. Get
Self-love.
weed out the shit people in your relationships too.
Oh God, yes.
I think at hard times people's like, oh, I've known him for 30 years. I don't give a shit if you've known him for
doesn't mean
your whole
permanence.
entire life.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that they want you to win. Have people in your corner that are cheering for you as well. If you're always like, I'm so proud of you, you did it. If your friends aren't doing the same thing for you, peace out. If you have we have a lot of girls in the family that they're newly dating, they're young, they're like, oh, I love this guy, he's great. I'm like, oh, I've already seen 6 red flags, only know about him for 2 days. But you have to learn that. Me telling you doesn't mean that you're going to spot the red flags. You have to know and have to value yourself more than this relationship right now or this person in order for you to truly see this person. Because if you love yourself 100%, you're going to set expectations. You're going to set boundaries. You're going to be like, nah, that's a no for me, but thanks
for asking.
And you won't tolerate the bullshit. Because there really shouldn't be bullshit in relationships. Yes, things happen and you're fighting over disciplining the kids or being late or whatever. Those little fights, they should be over quickly. But you shouldn't really be fighting about, do you love me? Are you texting somebody else? Are you doing that? Why are you shady? Why are you lying? Girl, there are 8 billion people, maybe 9 now, 9 billion people in the world. I think with COVID, it tripled. But, don't settle. And again, I can talk all day. I can tell you this all day, but until you see it, until you love yourself, until you value your relationship with you, which is the most important because only you are steering this ship, get yourself right. And it's okay to put feelers out. And if it doesn't feel comfortable, you now know what that feels like and don't want to feel like that again. If you've been in a relationship where it's one-sided and now you've met someone new at work, a new person started at work and she seems great. And then she shows you her true self. Okay, strike one. And then you're like, let me give her a try again. Little feelers out. Oh, strike two. There she is. And she's a mean girl. Out, she done. So you've already been there. You've already seen it.
Quickly, last words.
I don't have quickly last words. I've been gone for 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
I know.
Right?
Oh my God.
Did you not know this was gonna happen? What about guys? How are they with new relationships?
Guys
how do you make friends?
Guys make friends.
You fart in the same direction?
Yeah, we fart. We grab our junk and walk down the hallway.
One hand or two, and you're like, that guy's he can hang.
He's got one down. He's got one hand down his pants. Guys a little bit different. We're a little bit less emotional, more physical.
Yourselves?
Well, no, not like watching the ball game, sports. There's always some common thread with men, and there's some times where I have to cut somebody off. Not very often.
Something that just came to me too is once you get in a new relationship, like a romantic relationship, and she has her friends and he has his friends. Like Lance knows everybody. Yeah. So anytime we go somewhere, I always feel like the third wheel, even though I'm never treated like that in my own insecurities. I'm like, someone else I don't know. Someone else I don't know. Now, where I used to live, I worked in the elementary school. I was active in the community, and I knew everybody.
So you knew everybody.
And now I'm like, I don't know anybody because I've moved away.
But it's fun to meet people, though.
And so mine is, I once again depend on his friends' wives or 1 degree of him from other people. And a lot of people that I met are great. They're wonderful. I still don't have that dynamic where I'm making new friends in this new space where I'm always like falling back on my old friends because they're comfortable. And a lot of times when a new friend is presented in front of me, I'm like, nope, that's too much work. I don't like it. I don't like it.
So my last words are going to be, keep the givers, dump the takers.
The oxygen suckers. Yep. Especially we're here. We need all the oxygen.
Not a whole oxygen up here is 6,035 feet.
Yeah. And I think too is like, respect yourself enough and love yourself enough to let people go. It's okay. The season, the reason, and the lifetime.
Have a soft landing. They'll be fine.
And again, if they're not putting, like, I always get that. Why didn't you text me? I'm like, the fucking phone works both ways. Yeah. And we know there's FaceTime, there's Instagram, there's social media, there's all these things, all these ways to get a hold. And I'm one of those people like, oh, just thinking about you, just like whatever. And then My true friends were like, hey, I just did this. Remember that one time we did that? And if I'm going home on tomorrow, when I go see my best friend, is literally going to be like, we just saw each other yesterday. And so that's what you should be like. There should be no effort. There should be nobody should be mad because you didn't come see me for the last year because tickets are $800 to get there. Stop the petty. Get yourself right. Get yourself some adult friends. People who act adult. You can act kiddish sometimes too. You need people in your corner that are rooting for you as much as you're rooting for them. Love yourself. Be in the best relationship with yourself in order to find the authentic people that are going to be in your life.
Rachel did not let me down today. Off the cuff.
No
back
topic.
From vacation. Bam.
I brought it back with the tour bus and meeting people, and look at me.
There you go.
Now I just need to go sleep.
All right, everybody. Have a nice night. Thanks for listening.
Love you. Bye.
Right, bye-bye. Not bad. Man, you were full of it today.
I had a lot to say.
So how long are you going to be gone?